Hey, did you know that the Boston Terrier is a boisterous and intelligent terrier that was developed in the 19th century of Boston for the sport of dogfighting? First off, I want to thank everyone that watched my unboxing video for the Panasonic GH5S. It was my most viewed video to date on YouTube, so thank you, and thank you for coming back to this one. Today I'm going to talk to you about the RodeLink wireless Filmmaker kit. I've owned this mic for about a year, and I actually recently just purchased the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, and I've got to say this thing is fantastic, but I'm going to be doing a separate video to review this mic, so this is going away. Alright, real quick, I'm going to flash to how you link these two together if you just got the kit, so we're going to do that now. Alright, so this audio is being recorded with the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus attached to my Panasonic GH5S. And I'm going to show you how to get your mics synced together on the same channel. So you want to get the receiver pack first, which is what's attached to the top of your camera. And on the back, underneath the battery compartment, you have this red sync button. When you tap that, then the channel will start to blink. You can use the CH channel button then to select which of the 8 available channels you would like to be connected to. So for this instance, we'll just say 3. So then you'll go to the transmitter pack, which is what will be on your Talent, and on the back of there, you'll hit its red sync button. And when you do that just once, it will automatically sync to that third channel, whatever one is set on the receiver. So now these are synced and they're ready to record. So this is my first Panasonic camera. I previously came from Canon, and with DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, they tend to be very noisy because of the internal sensors and other digital thingamabobbers inside the camera. So what you have to do is set your noise levels as minimal as possible internally on the camera. So with the Canon, you'd set it like 3 ticks above the bottom level that you could. On the Panasonics, I've noticed they have a higher floor as far as like -12 decibels as far as it can go, and your audio is actually still very loud. So that's been a different change. So I'm partly making this video for myself just to see if there's any large audio differences between setting the transmitter and receiver volumes to different levels. Now, I've already checked this out. At 0 decibels on the transmitter and 0 decibels on the receiver, I am getting fantastic audio. My audio meter on the camera right now, it's not even touching, it's not peaking, the hard limiter isn't kicking in. I do have the hard limiter set as on the Panasonic, but I am getting fantastic audio this way, and I would be more than okay with this on anything I'd be doing. But what I'm going to do is, on the back of the transmitter, for instance, it has a 0 decibel, a +10, and a +20. On the receiver, it has a 0, -10, and -20. So I'm going to play with a couple different settings here just to show you the differences between 0 decibels on both the receiver and transmitter and the other settings on the mics to see if we're potentially getting any better audio quality. Now, before I jump into that, I want to go into a couple pros and cons of this particular mic. Now, I use the Sennheiser G3 wireless mic all the time at my office, and that's kind of been a staple of the industry for the last 5 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I actually just pre-ordered and it just shipped the G4 that's coming out from Sennheiser, so hopefully I can do a review video of that mic once it gets to me. But the one notable thing is the Rode mic is a full plastic body. So it doesn't feel that durable in comparison to the Sennheiser G3. Though I've had this over a year and it's held up really well. It does have some scratches and minimal blemishes, but there's no cracking. I did initially have to get the mic replaced by Rode. I don't know if they had a manufacturer defect within the microphones, but for whatever reason, the microphone that I got was not working, and they were more than willing to change it out for a new one. So I assume that was just early production stuff, you know, 2 years ago, whatever it was when they first released them. But this mic has worked wonders for me, and I've never had an issue. Honestly, I can't recommend this mic enough. If you are a new freelancer, or someone new to the indie film scene, these mics are fantastic. You can always go the route of getting the $100 wireless mics, the $200 wireless mics, but I've just never had any of those cheap wireless mics work. I mean, you just get so much wireless interference, it is crazy. And for $400, it's pretty inexpensive to have a really reliable wireless mic. All right, so now I have the RodeLink Filmmaker kit plugged up to the camera to give you an idea of what this audio sounds like. There's cars passing on the road behind me. It's gonna give you better audio. If you can get a lav on your talent, it's gonna sound really good. Then you can have a shotgun mic on top of your camera in case something goes wrong, like wireless frequencies or the batteries give out on your device without you seeing that it did. And then that shotgun mic is going to give you the best reliable audio coverage in a worst case scenario. So this is to give you an idea of what the wireless Filmmaker kit mic sounds like in an outdoor environment. All right, I jumped over to just the internal audio of the GH5S. So this is only internal, nothing else to it. Probably gonna really sound sucky, so I'm not gonna stay with this too long, but just to give a comparison. All right, so just for the purpose of our test, the transmitter is set at 0 decibels and the receiver is set at 0 decibels, and this is what the audio level is. The internal audio on my GH5S is set as far down as possible to -12 decibels, and I'm getting great audio signal. I'm not showing any peaking on the camera monitor currently, and this is also what you've been hearing through the first duration of the tutorial. All right, so now the transmitter is set to +10 decibels and the receiver is set to -10 decibels. So it kind of offsets each other. So I predict it's gonna sound pretty similar to 0, but this is the example with the mic set at -10 and +10. All right, so now the transmitter is set to +20 decibels and the receiver on the camera is set to -20 decibels. So again, offsetting, I'm kind of curious to see how this sounds. I'll go ahead and take a look at all three of these settings on the computer and give you kind of a final estimate of my opinion on them. But this is another test on the RodeLink wireless Filmmaker kit. This will be the final mode that I do. The transmitter is still set to +20, but the receiver pack I put at -10. Previously it was on -20. So the audio is showing up a bit louder on the reader. It is showing in the red every once in a while when my audio peaks, but I also have the hard limiter set on internally on the GH5S, so that should limit some of the high peaking parts that I have. So curious to see how this sounds. So this is one more audio test. Damn. All right, gang, I'm gonna level with you. I am not noticing much of a difference between the three modes that we just went through. So I'm gonna be leaving the transmitter and the receiver set at 0 decibels and lowering that noise floor internally on the camera to -12, as I'd advise you to do the same on your DSLR or mirrorless setup that you have. Now, if you have a different camera than the GH5S, you're gonna wanna do similar tests because I imagine this is gonna be different depending on what camera that you have. But my big philosophy is if the machine's not broken, don't try to fix it. So I'm gonna leave it at 0 decibels on both the transmitter and receiver. You know, I previously owned the Video Mic Pro from Rode, and the +20 decibel is huge because it limited the internal noise on the Canon DSLR that I was using at the time. So you'd figure that using that mode on the wireless mics with your camera would give some sort of benefit as well. But in this instance, I'm not really finding a benefit, so I'm not going to be using it. This has been a wonderful mic for me over the last year. I mean, to save an additional $200 over the Sennheiser mic, even the G4 that just came out, it's a big savings, and these are so simple to use. Just don't waste your money on the $150 wireless mics. They're not worth your time, I assure you. I've tried out like 2 or 3 different cheap wireless mics, never had a good experience with any of them. So invest your money in something that's gonna work for sure. You don't wanna be working on a client project, get into post and realize that your audio is junk. So just do it. I'll be back in a flash. Look forward to the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus tutorial, and I've got a couple other right around the bend. Peace, guys.